Hi there, Chantal here from Grounded Mind. How are you doing today? I should say Grounded Mind and my lichen planus journal. So this video I've been wanting to do for some time, and I wasn't really sure which way to do it. So what I'm going to do is speak from my head. I've got a few things written down because there's some important things that I need to explain, but the main point of this video is to explain the kind of, I suppose, the similarities or the combination or the similarities or the reasons why we get autoimmune diseases and why we also get chronic illnesses. Obviously, autoimmune conditions are chronic, so there's a key in that. And so I'll start from the beginning. I'll try and make this as the shortest story as possible. I do have videos on my Grounded Mind YouTube channel right at the very start, which explains lichen planus and explains vestibular migraine. I don't really want to point anybody there because those were the days when I just found out about how I could heal from these conditions, and so they're a bit rough and ready, but hey ho. So I have two Instagram pages. I have Grounded Mind, which is about vestibular migraine and mind body healing. And then I have a channel that I started in 2017 called My Lichen Planus Journal. And I'm going to collaborate these two pages together because there was a massive crossover, which I discovered a few years ago. I'm not really that present on my Lichen Planus Journal because I got ill in 2021 with vestibular migraine, and I was dealing with that, and obviously then I found out about mind body conditions, and the connection and the exposure that I've had in terms of healing has been immense. And so I have been coaching people with mind body conditions through knowing how neuroplasticity works and brain retraining, where a lot of people have had success globally, not just from me but other mind body doctors, coaches, therapists, etc. So I wanted to more so speak to the lichen planus community. So everyone kind of knows in that community what happened. So I'm just going to give a brief overview. So in 2017, in 2016, I was going through immense pressure and stress with my family, with work, with relationship, and health of people that were close to me. I was doing a lot of things as well as working out every single day. I was doing Insanity by Shanti every single day. So whoever's done that knows how intense it is. And my body was under extreme pressure. I didn't know that the extreme pressure that I was putting my body under was as bad as it was until people were pointing out to me, Shan, you are doing a lot. And I was like, oh no, I'm fine. It's okay. I've got to do this, got to do that. And so I was working full time. I was working two jobs. I was working full time in my profession. I was doing something else, and then I was doing things for my parents, doing things for this person and that person. My mum wasn't very well. There was loads of personal issues happening that I was kind of the person that was helping people. And so all of a sudden, bang, in 2017, I developed a rash, and it took over 75% of my body. And on that page, you can see through the years how it kind of, the hyperpigmentation kind of dissipated and disappeared over the years, and to the point that it's barely there now. And so what I did in 2017, when I had the first flare at the beginning of the year, I never knew what was going on. I was sheer panic. I was worrying. I was panicking, a bit like with vestibular migraine and the patients and the clients, and people that have that. But I was in a state of Google research, doctors, specialists, everything, until I had these massive blisters about that big that were all over my body, and the doctors put me on steroids. And then somebody reached out to me on a support group, a lichen planus support group, and told me about holistic healing and about AIP diet and about how they explained leaky gut and how leaky gut works, which is essentially you have 70% of your immune system that sits in your gut, and things like toxins, environment, stress and anxiety. Stress, that's a big word there, and anxiety. If these things aren't channeled properly in your body, it can cause a tear in your gut, and then your immune system leaks into your bloodstream, and then your body attacks it, and then that's how you get lichen planus. And that's essentially how leaky gut works. That's essentially how autoimmune works. But I wanted to talk about the stress element in that. The stress and anxiety element is specifically linked to mind body. And so I healed from vestibular migraine by doing the AIP diet, and also by meditating. I was doing Christian meditations, I was doing breathing work, and little did I know about mind body. I just thought I was doing these things at the time because I was stressed, to put myself in the present, not because I was creating new neurons in my brain, but because I was just calming myself down. But little did I know I was doing the things that I needed to do to actually tell my brain that I was safe. And so I came off the steroids after a few months, and the AIP diet kicked in, and the stress levels came down, and I had 2 flares of lichen planus that year. And then towards the end of the year, when I saw my dermatologist and I explained I'm not taking these steroids because I believe that I am better now, and she said, "Oh, what are you doing? You are crazy, don't do that." And I didn't do it. And then when I went back to see her again, she was like, "Oh my gosh, what did you do?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I had to write the diet down for her." And so I explained all of this through my lichen planus journal. I wanted to help people that were suffering like me. I know a lot of people healed. A lot of people have gone on to do their own thing now. And so it's been really great in terms of the reach and in terms of the support, even down to confidence. That video shows that I was confident in my own skin, even though I looked like a zebra or zebra. You know, you can see what my skin looked like. I went on holiday and I felt liberated. And when I got back, I was like, "Do you know what? My skin looks an absolute mess, but this is who I am." I accepted it, and I never looked back. And so when you think about all of the connection between mind, body, and the state of mind that my, mind was in, I was in a state of mind of, right, I accepted the fact that I had lichen planus. I calmed myself down. I dieted and made sure that I did the correct things in terms of healing my gut, and the stress signals, the fight and flight that was happening in my brain before this broke out, calmed down, and that is why I was cured. And so I have figured all of this out now, and it was so bizarre because in 2021, I again went through the same type of stress that I went through in 2016. There were stresses of starting a new job. There were stresses. There were just loads of personal stresses that were happening in my life. And again, I had that attitude of, I've got this, I'm fine, let's crack on. And, because I wasn't really thinking about lichen planus because, my body was fine. If I did get like any type of like itch or irritation, I knew what to do, which was to not scratch it, which was not to eat certain foods, which was to believe I'm okay. And so for the lichen planus community and the vestibular migraine and mind body people know this, and grounded mind people know this, but I started to get dizzy. I started to get vertigo on the way to a work meeting. I just felt kind of dizzy in the car. I stopped the car. I was panicking, and cut a long story short, I had to call an ambulance. An ambulance came, brought me to hospital. I had loads of checks. Everything came back normal apart from my iron. Had some iron tablets, and then a few days after it came back, but it was like all the time this kind of really, it wasn't like the spinny roomy vertigo, it was more so that unbalanced, kind of off balance feeling like I was floating. Everything used to affect me: sound, lights, noises, people. I couldn't drive because I felt dizzy, and then when I did drive and I felt okay, like going to work, which was 40 minutes away, I then had to ask my dad to come and get me because the lights at work would stimulate me, or meetings would stimulate me, and I just felt dizzy and horrible, and I had to work from home under a blanket, and it was awful. It was really horrible. I felt like I had lost my life. I was researching chronic vertigo, and then one night I went to bed because I was in such a state. I was in such a kind of state of panic, and I just heard a massive poof, in my ears. It was like a bzzz, and then the tinnitus started. I could really hear the ringing in my ears, and it was ranging, it was pitching, and that was like whenever I felt dizzy, then the pitching would go up and down, and it was awful. And then I was researching again, and I saw Meniere's disease, which is chronic vertigo and tinnitus, and I thought, oh my gosh, I cannot have chronic vertigo and tinnitus for the rest of my life. Oh my God. And so I had an appointment with the doctors. At this point, I had read a book called Victory Over Vestibular Migraine, I think it was called. And it wasn't a mind-body book. It was more so about things that you can do to stop it. And so I stopped eating salt, and I had a low sodium diet, and that seemed to have helped. But I felt like about 70-80% better, but I still had this kind of horrible rocking sensation. I still had really bad brain fog. I still felt self-aware when I came out of the house. When I went to the supermarkets, I felt like everybody was staring at me. It was awful. And then somebody in a support group put a book in there called, there was a book by Alan Gordon called The Way Out, and there was a book by Joey Remily called Rocksteady, and I read those books. And that, I would say, is when my life completely changed, and it is why I am where I am now, doing this video to you. It's been such a journey, and I would say, you know, I did a lot of praying when I was ill, and I do believe that God brought me to these people that showed me these books and gave me the knowledge around mind-body. So a mind-body condition, for people that are thinking, what is mind-body, what is a mind-body condition? They are symptoms that start from your brain, and then they kind of present themselves in a sickness or an illness or a pain or dizziness or sciatica or lichen planus. The stress element of that is what caused me to have lichen planus amongst the other factors with leaky gut. So we know with leaky gut we have environment, toxins, stress, food. And so I wanted to merge these two pages together, because what I say for Grounded Mind is exactly the same thing that people with lichen planus need to understand. So I wrote down a few things, and I wanted to kind of show how the mind-body is connected to autoimmune issues, because I'm not going to remember all of this. So chronic stresses and autoimmune reactions. Stress activates the nervous system, which can trigger or worsen autoimmune symptoms. Stress hormones like cortisol can damage the gut lining, leading to more leaky gut. Mind-body techniques help regulate this. So techniques like somatic tracking, which my Grounded Mind people will know about, brain retraining, and mindfulness reduces stress. Now, remember, I said when I had lichen planus, I was doing meditation, I was doing Christian meditation, that was reducing stress. And little did I know it was a mind-body condition, but that is why I was getting better as well, because I was actually lowering the stress levels by doing that mindfulness. And it calms the nervous system and supports gut health and balances the immune response. So you can massively see that autoimmune issues are mind-body conditions. So yes, I haven't been talking that much in the vestibular, in the lichen planus group in my Instagram page, because what I wanted to do was figure out, how do I speak to this community about mind-body and how it's connected to lichen planus and other autoimmune conditions. So AIP, which I spoke about all the time, it addresses a physical side, so leaky gut and inflammation, it addresses that. But mind-body healing addresses the emotional side, so the stress and anxiety and the fear patterns which actually contribute to leaky gut. And so together, this approach creates a complete healing approach in terms of people that have got lichen planus and that are trying to heal from that. This is the combined approach that you need to have. So I hope this makes sense. Lichen planus is a mind-body condition as well as an autoimmune condition. Autoimmune conditions are chronic, and chronic illnesses, if it isn't structural, are most likely a mind-body condition. So conditions that start from the brain, so it's the fear and the stress and the anxiety, and what your brain is there to protect you. So when that happens, our brain is going, oh my gosh, she's stressed, he's stressed, we need to protect her. Let's create some type of protection, and that protection is what presents itself in an illness, an autoimmune illness, a chronic illness, vestibular migraine, lichen planus, sciatica, headaches, migraines. That is what happened. It's a mind-body condition. So by reducing the stress and the anxiety, we are reducing and we are healing the gut, as well as doing the other things that help heal our gut. So I want to share this information because it's important that people that are suffering have this information. It's so important. If you're on my Lichen Planners page, my Grounded Mind page speaks a lot about mind-body healing. You'll hear vestibular migraine a lot, you'll hear migraines a lot, you'll hear anything to do with a mind-body condition a lot in that group. But take out vestibular migraine and put lichen planus there. It is the same healing process. We should be looking after our bodies physically, which is the healthy eating, limiting things that can contribute to flares in our gut, things like the gluten and the dairy and all the things that I speak about. But then the stress and the emotional part, which needs to be dealt with, which is how we think about the things that we're going through, how we treat our symptoms. So the itchiness, the scratchiness. I mentioned that when I got an itch, I didn't scratch it and it didn't get any worse. That is the thing we need to do. We need to understand that these symptoms aren't there because they hate us. These symptoms are there because our brain is trying to protect us, because it's scared, because we are feeding it really bad data, which is they're doing this and doing that and going there and going there. And there's a lot of things in life which we simply can't help, but we need to think of and use the techniques to ground ourselves and to understand that we are okay, we can breathe and we can heal ourselves. And so I really do hope this makes sense. And I would ask, I'm not going to do a longer video on this because I know I've got a lot of content out there, but if anyone's got any questions, feel free to just send me a DM. And with Grounded Mind, I coach mind-body clients all the time throughout the week. They have chronic illnesses which could be related to their vertigo, their tinnitus, their even chronic fear. I've got clients that have got various. I don't really want to say everything because I don't want to kind of give too much information out about my clients, but I have clients that have chronic everything. And so if you need me to give you a 15-minute consultation on what I do and how I help people, then feel free to drop me a line, visit my website, please share this content. Even if you don't want to do that, just have a look at my videos. There's a lot of information in there that you can use as tools to heal from these chronic mind-body autoimmune conditions. And so I am making it my goal, hopefully for the rest of my life, to be the person that's helping people. And I'm hoping that one day, this information will be taught, like how the Western medicine, gives you medicine to treat illnesses. I hope that there's this type of mind-body type medicine, if you like, which is just information, which can cure you from these horrible diseases that you're facing and illnesses. And so, yes, I hope this makes sense and you guys know where I am if you want to have a conversation with me. And yes, have a lovely rest of your day, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. And I will speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.